Alright everybody, what's going on? It's your boy Diesel back with you to try and give you some more information to enlighten your mind. So last video I started doing my review on and info and update information on Lone Mountain truck leasing. When I believe when I left off, I was talking a little bit about down payment, the way my experience went actually going there and being able to look at the trucks and all that. That might not be the same situation for everybody, because you may be too far away for it to make logistical sense for you to drive there and actually pick out your truck with your eyes on it. But that's okay. You know, the way that it works for most people is your salesman, like I was saying yesterday, your salesman will call you. You give him an idea of what you want, and he'll send you a list of all the trucks that match your criteria that you want in a truck. You pick out the one that you want on the list. There's no pictures, nothing like that. The only picture you got to go on is the stock photo that they have on their website for that model truck, which they're all pretty much going to look like that. They'll just be in different kind of conditions, better taken care of, not so good taken care of, and you really can't see that until you get there and actually lay eyes on the truck. So you can decide to put your down payment down on it, and it'll just, all that does is reserve that truck for you so nobody else can get it before you actually get there to look at it. Now when you get there to actually look at the truck, when you put your down payment down over the phone, you just give them your credit card information or whatever, and you actually get there to look at the truck. If you don't like it, or if it's nasty and not taken care of, all you got to do is, when you're there, look around, pick one that you do like, and just transfer your down payment over to that. They'll transfer your down. You're not locked into anything. If you don't like any of them, they'll give you your down payment back. It's no big deal. It's totally refundable. All it is basically a deposit to hold the truck for you until that particular truck for you, at least until you can get there. So you're at least guaranteed a truck. Now what you might want to do is you might want to go ahead and, without putting a down payment down, go ahead and travel and look at the truck. But then it takes them a few days to get the truck ready to be leased to you. So you'll have to need to be ready to get a hotel room or something like that while they get it ready and get it fixed up and ready for you to take. But then again, if you put a down payment on one and you get there and it's not what you want or not what you like, then you're gonna have to have a hotel room or somewhere to stay if you switch your down payment to another truck, because they're gonna have to get that truck ready for you. So it all just depends on how you want to do it. It was, like I said yesterday, it was only 2 hours from my house, so I just went and just looked, and it wasn't that much gas or anything. I didn't have to get a hotel. I just picked out the truck that I wanted and then gave them the amount of time that they needed to get it ready. One hiccup I had with my experience was I picked out the truck that I wanted, put the down payment on it, and they told me it was right around Christmas that I was doing all this, and they said, okay, well, it would be ready on this date. Well, they called me 2 days before I was going to go pick it up and told me that it was going to be like another week because of Christmas and all. It was going to be like January 2nd or something, which was like a week away. no, it was going to be December 26th, and it was supposed to be like December 20th or something like that. But they were closed on Christmas and closed the day before Christmas or something. And anyway, just Christmas just threw a whole monkey wrench into the deal, and I ended up having to wait a little bit. They were backed up, getting trucks ready, and then with their days off and everything, it just kind of threw it off by a few days. So I had already taken the days that they originally told me. I had taken off work to go do all this, and ended up losing out on the loads for those days, and then had to take a couple more days off to actually go get the truck when they actually had it ready. So that kind of sucked, but they apologized. They were really cool about it. When I actually took the truck for the test drive, when I got there, like I said, they let you take it. They open at 8. If you're there at 8, you can have it till like 4:30 or something like that, because they close at 5 and they need it back like 30 minutes before they close. So I drove it, found that some of the outlets in it didn't work, the steering wheel control didn't work, but as soon as I got it back, I decided I'd go ahead and get the dyno and the DOT inspection done on it. So I took it down the road after I test drove it, took it down the road. The shop that they recommend you use is like 2 minutes away. It's a Freightliner dealership. And I went to the Tifton, Georgia location. So that only took like maybe 2 hours. So in all, I had the truck about 3 hours maybe. And then was back about 11, something like that. And I gave them a list. I wrote down a list of everything that they needed to fix. The battery terminals were dirty, corroded. Some of the outlets didn't work in here, and the radio controls didn't work on the steering wheel. But they had it fixed up and ready to go though in just a few hours, and then I spent another few hours actually doing the paperwork, and was on my way. And then the next day I went, and no, it was actually another week because of New Year's and all that. It took me a week before I was actually able to take it to the company that I'm leased to and actually get it leased on. So it sat in my yard for a week, so that sucked. But they give you 45 days before your first payment. That is essential. It totally helps so much. And the fact that it took me a week to get it leased on, and then of course I was a week in the hole on my paycheck, so it took 2 weeks for me to get my first paycheck. I didn't really get to utilize that 45 days as much as I could have, but it definitely helps. It definitely helps a lot. So I started rolling with my truck. Pretty good experience so far. After I had it a couple of days, my check engine light came on. Now, the company that I work for uses tablets to do our e-logs and stuff. And they can actually, because it's plugged into the truck's computer, they can go in there and they can look up your codes. So they went in there and they looked up the code, and it was a turbo speed sensor. So I looked up, what all that was, and was actually going to see about getting it replaced. It was like a $200 part. And my truck was running fine. It didn't even lose any power, so I don't know what was up, but after a few days the check engine light went off. It was right after I got it washed, and then I started to notice that anytime that I got the truck washed, my check engine light would come on, like within a couple of days, and it would stay on for like sometimes up to a week, and then it would go back off. So I don't know if it's like sensors getting wet in there. I've had my company run my codes a few times, and it was stuff like the fan for the air conditioner on the passenger side, but the fan still blows on the passenger side, so I don't know. But I read in a few places that these sensors are touchy and they send a signal to the unit, and if it doesn't get a response back within a millisecond or so, it'll throw a code for it. And there, a lot of times there's nothing actually wrong. So, I started riding. I did some loads probably for a couple weeks without any problem, and then my exhaust temperature light came on. Well, I have a little area on my dash. I'll show you right there. I have an area on my dash where it says exhaust filter, and there'll be a exhaust temperature light here, and then you'll have your regen light here that comes on after a little bit. So the exhaust temperature light came on, and I pulled over and I tried to regen it, and it wouldn't regen. Well, apparently it will only regen when both of those are lit, the exhaust temperature light and the regen light. After I got back rolling up at full speeds, eventually that exhaust temperature light went off, but it started running kind of crappy when it was on during that time. And a couple weeks later, I was driving, the exhaust temperature light came on, and then the regen light came on, and I was like a mile and a half from my house, so I was like, well, when I get to my house, I'll regen it. Well, it gave me about 30 seconds is what it seemed like, and my red engine light started flashing. It derated and it shut down on the side of the road, just like that. So unless there's a way that I don't know about to force a regen on this truck, that's a pretty crappy design. What if you're in traffic in Atlanta or some big major city and you're in the center lane and both of those lights come on? Well, you got 30 seconds to get to the side of the road before the engine shuts off on you. So it shut off on me on the side of the road about a mile from my house, and I had to wait about 10 or 15 minutes, and I tried to start it and it started back up, and I just prayed my way to the driveway, and I made it in the driveway. Both the lights were on. I was able to hit the regen button and it regened, and since then it's felt like it needs to regen sometimes, just the way that it runs. I could just kind of feel it, but I don't get any lights, so I can't regen it. So that's kind of crappy. Other than that, though, the truck has been running so awesome. Like I said, it's a 2015 International Pro Star, and it's got the Cummins engine in it. It doesn't have that Navistar crap that was going wrong and had to be recertified and all that kind of stuff. So it's got the Cummins. I have a small power steering pump leak that I've noticed. Well, I say small, it's actually gotten kind of bad. I gotta put power steering fluid in it probably about once a week or once every 2 weeks or something like that. And you can kind of hear it when you turn the steering wheel. I did get the 10-speed automatic, and that's because I haul containers from the port in Savannah, and I run loads to Atlanta every day. So I'm in Atlanta traffic every day in the morning rush a lot of times. My knees give me problems a lot of times, and I figured if I'm gonna be paying on a truck for 3.5 years, what if one of my knees goes out, or I gotta get surgery on it, or it starts to hurt really bad? I gotta still be able to work, even if I can't pump that clutch. So I got the automatic. It's been great. sometimes if I got a heavy load and I try to back up, it feels like it maybe slips a little bit. Sometimes it'll rev a gear like right after you get in the truck and you're first taking off with a really heavy load. Those first couple gears in the morning will rev kind of high, your fan will kick on, but then it goes on. It doesn't give me any more problem. It doesn't jerk when it switches gears or anything like that. It took me a little while to get used to backing up to dock doors, because you got to do it a little different than with a manual. It's a little easier with a manual transmission, being able to work that clutch and brake, or work that clutch and gas fuel pedal. So anyway, I can show you a little bit of the truck. I don't know how to switch this thing around. It's a pretty nice truck though. I'll do a more extensive tour a little later on when I have my camera set up to do that. The way that I got it set up, I got my microphone set up, I got a forward facing camera on, so it'd be kind of hard right now, but that'll definitely be coming up. So I'm gonna continue these and just kind of try to feed information. If anybody's got any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'm also going to get into explaining a little bit about what I do and port hauling and stuff like that versus, signing on with like Landstar or Snyder Choice Boards or something like that. This works out a little better for me. I'm home every day. As of right now, I go to different places and have a few regular customers. You don't make quite as much as you do with like Landstar or something like that. I'll get more into that later. But then again, you don't use the fuel. Your fuel's very reasonable through the week. Not as much maintenance and things like that on your truck. So that kind of works out. So yeah, I'll get more into explaining all about that a little bit later. But just kind of wanted to touch base today. I'm going to try and start making videos. So like I said, we got some faster internet at the house. We live out in the boondocks, so that was kind of a headache getting that done. But we're finally able to find some. I can get videos uploaded in about 30 to 35 minutes now. I don't know if that's good, but it was taking like 5 hours. Seriously, it was horrible. So yeah, stay tuned everybody, and we're just gonna be making videos, man. We're just gonna be making videos, talking, starting conversations. I hope everybody jumps on board. Hope like I said, one of my videos got 1.1 thousand views. I have no idea how that one got so many views, and the other 4 or 5 that I got like 200 or something like that. But we're gonna try to get this thing rolling, try to get some questions answered, try and get some know-how. I would like to get a little bit taught a little bit too, so if anybody else out there has got good information, share, and I'll share what I got. So everybody take it easy, and have a great one.